Prime Minister Boris Johnson, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you, Kaya. Thank you for your welcome. Great to see you, Jens, and great to be here again in Tapa, this very, very important mission. NATO is perhaps unique in the history of defensive alliances because it has stood for over 70 years, not for aggression, but for peace and stability. And during those years, the alliance has been tested many times in the Cold War, in the Balkans, in Afghanistan. This matters because the world has become a more dangerous and a more contested place. A few short days ago, we all stood witness to scenes we hoped we would never see again on the continent of Europe. A sovereign, democratic people fighting for their lives against a foe who wishes to subjugate them by force. As we realize the terrible extent of President Putin's ambitions, the world has been rightly united in praise for the valor and bravery of the Ukrainian people, led by President Volodymyr Zelensky. And I expect, like colleagues here, I've had the privilege of speaking to President Zelensky virtually every day since the Russian invasion, and I've heard firsthand his sheer determination that the freedom his people have experienced must never be snatched away. And indeed, it's clearer day by day from the way the Ukrainians are responding that President Putin has made a disastrous miscalculation. His troops have not been welcomed into Ukraine as he prophesied, and instead the Ukrainians have mounted an astonishing and tenacious resistance. We, as the international community, have a responsibility to do everything we can to help the Ukrainians in their efforts. And that's why the UK has trained 22,000 members of the Ukrainian armed forces and why we've provided further defensive military support to Ukraine. And we have a responsibility to all Ukrainians. That's why the UK has provided £140 million in humanitarian aid to Ukraine and to the region. It's why we've deployed both humanitarian experts and hundreds of military logistics experts to Ukraine's neighbours to help them shelter those seeking sanctuary on their shores. And it's why we've announced the first phase of a bespoke humanitarian route for the people of Ukraine to come to the UK. It's also why, alongside allies across the world, the UK has swiftly executed the biggest package of sanctions ever imposed against a G20 nation. And we've seen organizations from banks to oil companies to football leagues to singing competitions who've made it clear that Vladimir Putin and his regime must be isolated from the international community for his actions. As we support the people of Ukraine, we must also shore up our shared resilience, both to protect our people and our values. These are nothing more than defensive measures, which have been the essence of NATO for more than 70 years. And I want to be crystal clear, finally, on that point. We will not fight Russian forces in Ukraine, and our reinforcements, like these reinforcements here in Tapa, are firmly within the borders of NATO members, and they are profoundly the right thing to do. Thank you all very much.